Today we're going to make pizza dough using ingredients locally sourced here in Vietnam. The main ingredients are flour, water and yeast. We're going to start off with 1 kilogram of flour and 500 ml of water. Start by pouring the water into a bowl. Then add a pinch of yeast, 2 pinches, and give it a mix. Next, add the flour. After this, we're going to give it a good mix. Right, now it's not quite a dough, but it's nearly there. At this point we're going to add our salt. For every 500 grams I like to put 1 tablespoon of salt. After the salt has been added, continue to mix the dough. Now at this point, I can see that the dough needs a little bit more water, so I'm going to give it an extra touch. In terms of measurement, we started with 500. That sort of gives you more of a 50-50 hydration. If you want higher hydration, which I prefer, you can even put as much as 600 to start off with. But it's always good to start with less and add as you go to get the consistency that you want. So we've added 50 ml. We're going to continue giving it a mix. At this point, we're ready to start kneading it. At the bottom, you'll start to see that the stickiness is cleaning the dough off the bottom. If you find that it's not quite cleaning it, or there's some dry parts, you can add a drop of water until the dough is at that point where there's no flour left at the bottom, but it's not too sticky. So we're just going to add a slight drop and continue the kneading. Okay, so at this point, the dough's all feeling the right consistency and the bottom is clean. There's no more flour dust. So we're just going to leave this now for a good 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Leave it for a little bit, and we're going to come back and knead it after the dough's had time to settle. Make sure the top is nice and airtight and just give it time to rest. Okay, so we've come back after 20 minutes. Let's lift the lid up. And you can see that it still looks a bit lumpy. It's not smooth, but it has had some time to relax. So the next stage is we're just going to knead it for a little bit longer. So you can see now that we've given it a bit more kneading, the dough's becoming smooth. Okay, so after about 5 minutes of kneading, we've got a nice smooth looking dough, and the bowl is virtually clean. The next step is to just get a drop of water just to put on your hands. Whoops. Like so, and you just want to keep the top moist, right? Because you don't want this dough to dry out at the top. And then the next bit, we're just going to cover it again with our lid. Make sure it's airtight. And we're going to just leave it for now 2 hours. So now that we've left it for a little bit, we're going to do the first fold. You're going to take the dough and you're going to stretch it and fold it. And then you're going to do the same again the other direction. Stretch it and fold. Okay, and then repeat that process and put it back into a ball. And you can see we've got a nice, smooth, bubbly. All right, now, again, the same as we did before, we're going to wet our hands and we're going to cover it up. Okay, so we've wet it up. We're going to put the top back on. And this time we're going to leave it, again, say 2 hours. You can leave it for 4 hours. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. The main thing is that you leave it for a few hours and come back and then fold it again. Okay, so it's been 3 hours. I'm going to lift the lid up and let's have a look. So you can see the dough is looking a little bit more spread out, a little bit more risen, a little bit more bubbly as well. Now we're going to fold it a second time. Take it out, stretch it. Give it a good stretch. And then we're going to fold it just like we did before, and the same in the opposite direction. Stretch it out. Use gravity. And then we're going to form it back into a ball in the same manner as we did before, where we're turning it round and stretching it back over, forming the skin over the top. And there we go. We're going to put it back into the bowl. And at this point, I'm going to do the same again as we've done the last times. We're going to wet our hands. And we're just going to cover the top of the dough with a bit of water just to stop it from getting dry. So now the same again, we're going to get the plate, cover the top of the bowl. So at this point it's nearly finished. We're going to leave it to rest for 1 more hour and then we're going to put it in the fridge. So after an hour, we'll lift the lid up and we're going to take the dough out. So for this part, you can put it on a counter, but in this case, I'm just going to put it on a wooden pizza board. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some olive oil. And we're going to coat the top of the dough with a splash of olive oil. And you want to try and spread that around nice and generously all the way around, top and bottom. Right, we're going to put it back on there. And then we're going to split it up into even portions. We're going to take our hands, squeeze at the bottom and make balls. Right, you can see there it is that we've got nice pizza ball. And we're just going to divide the dough up into pizza balls. Right, so you take the dough, squeeze it, and then you have it. One, another one, there you go. So there you have it. We've got 6 balls that we've made with our kilogram of flour. Now we're going to put them into plastic bags. Now you can use food bags. These are cheap bags that I bought from the market. And I like to individually put them into bags. Take all the air out of the bag. And tie at the top, leaving some space for the dough. There it is. Right, so you've took the air out. You've got a little bit of space there inside it, and you're just going to bag it up like that. Once you've got it bagged up, you put it in the fridge, and you take it out a few hours before you want to use it. And there you go, guys. This is how I make my pizza dough.